I myself am cisgender, meaning I was born female and I present
You
myself as
see, I
female
really
now.
hate that term. I really don't like it.
Why don't you like
Because I'm
it?
not a subset of me sex. I'm just not. I'm a woman.
But it's a way of differentiating people who were born the gender that they express,
Everybody's born one sex or the other.
but some of them, they don't express that gender when they grow up.
But that's just a stereotype.
But what about
They're
transgender
expressing,
people?
well, you can't change sex.
But what about transgender people? Do
You
you
can't
not
change sex.
but what about transgender people? Like, they're living it. They're living
They're
they
people, but
did.
they don't change sex.
I think it's good that we live in a world that people can make those transitions to live more authentically as who they are.
Like what do you mean by transitions?
So making the transition from the sex you were born to the gender that you truly feel like you are.
So you're changing from a sex to a gender.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So say you're born as a woman, right? You're born as a female, but throughout your childhood, maybe adolescence, maybe early adulthood, you realize I don't fit in this body.
So you have an
I'm a
operation,
man. Not necessarily. A lot of women who transition to men, they do have mastectomies.
but you can't transition to be a man because you're a woman. If you're a woman, you're always a woman.
If you're a woman who transitions to a man, you are now a man.
No, you can't change your sex.
You can't change your sex, but you can change your gender.
Well, how do you change your sex into a gender? I don't.
We should be allowed to express ourselves however we feel most authentic. And that's really what inclusion is all about. That's what
Well, this is the
authenticity is
thing,
all
though,
about.
that there's a lot of trans activists who are pushing for men to use women's spaces, and that's harmful for women. And the LGBTQ, whatever, plus all the extra letters, is actually harming women because some of the men who decide they're women, they have a fetish and they push women, like they end up abandoning their families, and it's quite abusive.
I personally have never heard about stories like that.
Yeah, so trans widows, you need to look it up. So we've got all this DEI in workplaces, and we are actually harming people who've been on the other side of this. So when someone comes out as trans, everybody gives them the attention. But what about the wife who's left behind? What about the children who are left behind? Are they supposed to just go along with this man who now says he wants to wear women's underwear?
I just think we all deserve the right to express ourselves the way we feel most authentic.
Well, yeah, that's fine until it it goes into other people's rights.
That's the thing, we all have, it goes both ways. So we all have the freedom to have our own beliefs. And, I agree, like, we shouldn't, if it's harmful to others, if there's harm and that being enacted on others, then that needs to be corrected. But all the cases, especially I'm talking about the workplace, I'm an organizational psychologist, so that's really the context that I operate in. There is a lot of discrimination and issues when it comes to the trans population. So those need to be addressed.
So gender isn't a thing. It's sex that's important.
I do know these are very small use cases. I think I read
But
here
it
in the
affects
States, there's
all
like,
the women. If you let one man into a woman's toilet, for example, that's no longer a woman's space. So women have lost their... So
once again, I'm not a trans activist. I just believe we all have the right to express ourselves the way that we feel is our authentic.
yeah, I think that because they've introduced all these different boxes, it's actually skewing the actual data that we need. And sex is important.
Sex is important, but gender is important as well, and they're not the same function. Trans people are not dressing up as women to get into women's spaces to then hurt
Yeah,
women.
they are.
No, they aren't.
Yeah,
they really
are.
aren't.
Men are doing that because you can't tell the difference between a man and a trans woman. There's no difference. They're all men.
Yeah, I think this is a really dangerous narrative that's villainizing a population that is highly susceptible to violence and discrimination.
It's true.
See the data on that.